Guys, thanks for joining us again. We're here in Baltimore, Maryland. We're at the site of the Francis Scott Key Bridge collapse site. The MV Dali still attached to part of that wreckage of the bridge. The trestles interwound into the bow section of that ship. Salvage groups, Donjon as well as Resolve handling the part of the ship. Donjon is responsible for the bridge that's down. Those two teams working together to get this taken care of and at least get this shipping lane opened back up for the Port of Baltimore. Shipping has stopped west of the former bridge where that bridge has collapsed and blocked the shipping channel. Now out at the site, looking at it in this kind of tight shot, you can see some of those activities are taking place. They've got resources on the job, and I know there's been some discussion on the internet of why don't we have this floating crane, or this floating crane is available, and one of those is the Jones Act. And Jones Act has been around for a long time, and the Jones Act sets a lot of regulations, a lot of legislation on how the shipping industry works. And one of those is it handles ship salvage, and no non-U.S. flagged vessel can come into U.S. waters to do salvage operations on the actual casualty. So that kind of precludes some of those massive vessels that you've seen on the internet that can lift something with the weight of a building. It's not there. The biggest available piece of equipment to utilize in this job right now is out there. It's on the water. It's called the Chesapeake 1000. 1,000 tons of lifting capacity. The vessel has a very interesting history in that it was originally constructed with a Howard Hughes backed project with the CIA to recover a Russian submarine. Howard Hughes was instrumental in that. At the time, he was involved in drilling, and they constructed a vessel to go out there. It was called the Global Explorer. Very interesting history. But the Chesapeake 1000 was part of that operation, part of that the necessary equipment, and it is now owned by Donjon, and that piece of equipment is here. That's the largest piece of equipment that's on the East Coast. There are bigger lifting cranes in the country, and those are going to be over in the Gulf. They're used in the oil industry. You know, in my days with the Golden Ray, we saw the VB 10,000 come in and do some cutting of the Golden Ray ship, the cargo ship that flipped over with all those cars in it. We saw it cut that ship up into sections, 8 pieces, 7 cuts, 8 pieces, and they cut that with an anchor chain back and forth underneath the arch of that massive VB 10,000 lifting vessel. It's a catamaran type vessel, and it had 10,000 tons of lifting capacity, and they used that to kind of rip through that ship and then lift the sections and place them on big barges and take them into port for further processing. That kind of equipment is out there. It's on the Gulf. It's over in the Gulf, and to move something over here is, you know, at 3 or 4 knots. The one advantage, if you're bringing it up, I could imagine you're going to have the aid of the Gulf Stream moving north. That current would kind of help you drift over, but it's still going to be a very slow process to do that. Hopefully, a good portion of this project is completed before a vessel like that could even arrive on station to begin aiding with the process. And it just really doesn't make to move something like that here right now with the process that they've got going on here. It's going to be slow, and we've sections you know, being cut. We've seen you can actually see the torches from here that are working on the site cutting metal. We watched them yesterday into the evening, and as the sunlight begins to fade, you can see them. The park closes here at dusk, so we have to leave. However, we're at the Fort Smallwood Park in Pasadena. Everything has to happen methodically. You can't just go in and slice large sections of this and say, pick it up. First of all, the guys in the water, a lot of this stuff is going to happen underwater. And if you don't know exactly what you're cutting and what you're cutting, what it is supporting, and if it could fall and if it could cause problems, you're going to have a lot more hurt and pain on this job site. Safety is factor one with this group that's out here. Everybody needs to come home from this job. Get them, be safe, and get home. But that means it's small, it's calculated, it's understanding the loads that you're dealing with for the crane systems, and that's how this process is going to take place. You know, how do you eat an elephant? It's one bite at a time, and that's what you're going to see out here. It's not going to be a massive lift of this section or that section, and they're going to get it done, guys. I've said this many times. Is out there behind me right now working on this project. There's no doubt about that. You guys are very fortunate to have that group here. Now I'm looking at what we've got going on back here at the site. Can we get that tight shot one more time here? And let's look and see what we can try to see what's going on. Many thanks to Alfred Montaner and Derek from the food boat for everything. And Alfred brought in a nice camera. But you see here in this image, you see that crane. I apologize, we got a little shakiness in the video, but the wind's out here blowing 30 miles an hour right now. And we can see the Weeks crane, and that is that crane that has a red tip and a white boom, and it comes down to a red house. That's the Weeks crane. That's the derrick barge from the Weeks operation. And it looks, you know, trying to look at this study, it is off on looks like the starboard side of the Dali, and they're working on that material that's there on that side of the trestle. Now they're not as, keep in mind of where the pier supports were, and that was right off the bow, right off the right in front of really where that Weeks crane is working. Everything that is to the left of the screen, that's not that big a concern right now. As long as it can be safely controlled and cut and brought down, that material can actually stay in play there. The critical part of this is that area between the two piers, the pieces that held up the major span of the bridge. That material that's down, once they get that material out of there, they can start getting the port open back up and try to get the economics of the area flush again. They're going to concentrate on those areas and hopefully be able to bring in a controlled depth of 35 feet around the end of April, and the rest of it down to the 50, 52, 54 feet cleared out by the end of May. That's their timeline. It's ambitious. There's a lot of material down there. And as we come back around, and you know, from this point, you can see that span there. You see that span. Look at the gap across there to the other side. Can you take that in? Can you that is a...
Yes, that's the shot I wanted them to see.
That is a 980-foot ship that's sitting with part of that bridge on it. Look at that gap across there, guys.
Crazy. That's the perspective that I wanted them to see from the initial, because it's hard to absorb how much of a distance that is. Now the camera's making it look like it's not so far away, but that's a considerable distance.
Yeah, I mean, you look at that, you look at the Dali sitting there, and when you know that that ship is over, now it's just under 1,000 feet long, the ship, it kind of comes into perspective of what kind of monumental task this is to get this area picked up. And of course, the big concern is the area in between those main spans. Get that opened up, get the port opened up. The rest of the material is going to have to come up. And now I know I'm kind of putting the cart before the horse here, but you know, you've got the existing approaches that are still there. Are they going to stay in place? Will those supports be utilized for any new construction? I don't know. I don't have those answers. I am not a bridge engineer. I haven't heard. I have no clue. But I would think, and this is just thinking about modern construction techniques and that kind of thing, the concrete that's in that bridge right now, this bridge was constructed back in the 70s. You're looking at something that's got an age of about 50 years. What's the lifespan of a bridge before it has to be replaced? And maybe, you know, this situation has happened and they look at doing that, and those approaches that are there have to be removed as well. I don't know that for a fact. It's just, I think it's worthy of a little bit of discussion. When you start the rebuilding process, are you going to basically start from a clean slate? That's going to be another marine type job when that happens, when those support systems have to come down, if in fact they do, and whatever is left. That's going to be a big part of the job today. That's a discussion for another day, but it's something to have in the back of your mind when you condition. And it was breezy when we first got out on the site here this morning. We were already looking at wind gusts close to 30 miles an hour, and at times I think we've had gusts that are well over 35 here. Some of our gear has actually blown over in places where we didn't have them secured before we could really get them kind of in position. They toppled over. It's very gusty. The sun is shining right now, but we've had periods of kind of overcast. It's what I would call at home a grayback north wind. It's a raw, it's a cold, it almost, to me, it feels like wintertime here.
Look at that, Andy. Look at that.
Yep, and these are exactly, Alfred has gotten his.
Let me hold the tripod real quick.
He's gotten his stuff. These are the existing spans I'm talking about here, and again, I don't know if these things have the ability to continue to be used in the replacement bridge, because it is, I mean, this bridge was 50 years old, or it's over 50 years old. Do you go ahead and do you replace all of that now? All of this debris out of the water that's right around, and especially this where the Dali is. Can you guys, I mean, when you look at this shot, look at that crane, look at the size of the stack, and the stack is what I refer to. That's the cargo. Those are the containers that are on the deck of the Dali. That's referred to as the stack, and some of that stack is already leaning over from the impact and the fall of the bridge. But the stack is pretty high. But look at the bridge. The bridge remnants are over the top of the stack, so it's up pretty high. You can figure that stack was 100, 120, 130 feet tall. I'm not exactly sure. It's sitting on top of the ship. That's a lot of material. That is a lot of steel material carried away, that you cause more problems by getting the ship moved out of there before it has an opportunity to be cleared of that debris, so that when it is pulled back, it doesn't suffer further damage and the possibility of a hull breach, and you have a pollution, and then you have pollution problems, and a very methodical system and thought process in freeing this entanglement of steel girders from the ship. And we've seen on some of the other images that have been released by Unified Command of, portions of that ship are opened up topside, and they say, from what I understand, there has been some hull breach that is down in those forward compartments, not to the point that the ship's going to sink. The crew is remaining on the ship. They're monitoring those systems to keep an eye on pumps and all that kind of thing, and that's important part of the system of the operation. Keep those guys there. They know the ship. They know the systems. Those are the guys that you're going to want on the ship, handling those issues as they come up. I'm sure that they have the capabilities of getting additional resources to them should it become possible, but right now it's important to keep those guys there.
Andy, I wanted to ask you a question.
Sure.
Are these those roll-on, roll-offs that we're on?
Yep.
Explain that so they can know what's going on here. And
those ships, roll-on, roll-off car carriers, as a lot of people refer to them, those ships main ramp, and they will go up other individual ramps until they get that ship stacked up. There could be 12, 15 decks on the car carrier for the cars.
I want them to see that, and while you explain that, because I know that when we did our video over there in St. Simon, when we were doing the video of the Golden Ray, we saw one of those, and they were actually unloading thousands of cars.
Yes.
A lot.
Yes.
So explain about that.
Those
that's going to be heavily. That's a big problem over here for this port, because they can't use that right now until this bridge is cleared.
Yep. And what they're doing now, and what we're looking at right here, this is the Sparrows Point area over, and and they had started some work on the area, and I think that is the constant ace that's there. I may have to pull up my Marine Tracker app to be able to 100% identify that ship that's there. Continuous ace or constant ace, I can't remember exactly, but it's there. And every one of those vehicles that comes off of that place, that is imported into Baltimore, the state of Maryland, there's revenue that's generated from taxes that come in with that importation of that vehicle, and then all those vehicles that go on that ship to go somewhere else. There's a fee that's paid by the shipping company to be able to use those port facilities. And then, if you can imagine the amount of, if you've got 5,000 cars that are on a vessel, and what kind of workforce would be required to unload one of those vessels and then reload it. And it's not just cars that are on that ship. There, anything that with wheels or tracks that can be basically rolled up on it, hence the name roll on, roll off, is going to be on. It's going to be excavators, boats on trailers. I've seen those going on and off these ships, bulldozers, heavy earth moving equipment. It goes as much as you can imagine that can be driven or operated or rolled up onto one of those ships is moved by these big container ships. And those ships can no longer get past where the bridge is collapsed. They can't get up to the places. So those areas, the newer facilities that they have that are up there to process these cars, can't access those right now. And not to mention You know, there are other ships that are now can't exit the port. Where are they loaded? What kind of cargo was on them? Is that cargo going to have to come off of them immediately to be moved off somewhere else? How's it going to be moved? Hazardous material that was moved out of the port area over here was moved across the Francis Scott Key Bridge. You cannot move hazardous material through a tunnel. It has to go through a bridge, and that was the access for those vessels that had to move hazardous material. What are you going to do with that now? It's got to go. It's got to be routed back north to get around way over on the get moved down to another port. Everything has to be either transported to another location, and either are going to have to be unloaded for that to happen. The shipping company's going to get beat up on shipping costs because you've got customers now that are that were expecting products to show up. Now they're going to be delayed, you know, a couple months on getting there. And I don't know if it's, you know, like the old Domino's, 30 minutes or less. I don't know how that works in the shipping industry. Of those guys, are they under contract still to deliver it there when possible, or do they pull everything off the ship and then move it to a transport where it's got to go out now? Are there perishable items on there? Any food items that need to be moved? You know, you think about the possibilities and what's going on over there. You really start to understand this is it's a situation. It really is.
And let me ask you a couple questions.
Sure.
So, what have they said as far as timeline? I know the Army Corps of Engineers just think could happen based on you seeing the whole salvage of the Golden Ray and how issues can arise and all that.
Up enough to a depth of 35 feet. Now, anything for the larger ships,
okay,
but the smaller ships, the ships with less draft, they may be able to get over the existing debris, and they may be able to open the port enough on a limited basis to move some of that cargo that's in there out of there,
yeah,
and move it. But you got to keep in mind, the guys are still going to be working out of there, so it's going to be one of those things. They're going to have to schedule these events when these ships are going to come, because whatever cranes or derrick barges, tugboats, any divers in the water, that kind of thing, those guys are probably going to have to suspend operations while those ships are transitioning through that area.
Well, think about the conditions that we're dealing with right now. Like what people can't. They're seeing the white caps in the water, but it's blowing like 30, sometimes maybe even more with gusts.
Alfred, you're a lot like me.
Well,
you've experienced being out on the water, right?
Yes.
All right. On a day like today,
oh, I won't
would you be on the water today? No, you wouldn't.
No, not me, and that's why we haven't even seen one boat come out here just to even go around the area.
I want you to understand this, that their guys, their personnel are out there on the site right now, regardless of what the weather is, doing diving operations.
And that's the point I'm trying to make. It's 40 degrees out here right now. It's blowing 30-mile-an-hour winds, right? So think about it. There's a huge crane up there on a barge. There's movement of water. I was just on a barge the other day, and you feel it. When you feel it, when they were doing those deadlifts, they were doing like a deadlift, right? At some points, they're using the vibrating arm to pick up the beams and all that stuff.
Sure.
And they got all the equipment in the world, and I'm sure Donjon has all the stuff that they need to do this. But like what you've been saying, this is going to be one piece at a time. People think that it's just going to happen. A lot of people are going to stop talking about this content, and these people are still going to be working. While everybody else, life continues to be normal, these guys are going to be working, because it took you, what, 2 years to document the Golden Ray?
Yeah, it was a process, and one of the things I saw a tremendous amount of down there with the operation at Golden Ray were delays.
Yes.
We would have weather delays. We would have mechanical problems with the implementation of the process and how it was done.
Yeah.
There were mechanical issues that caused delays. COVID came along and there was a COVID delay. That's not a concern right now, thank goodness.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying the unknown variable of a delay is a very real, it is a very real issue.
I am honestly surprised that there is no boats in the water. Not because of the conditions, right? Because I know obviously on a regular scenario, people want to see it for themselves, right? Because you're seeing footage, like drone footage and whatever the media is putting out there. Like, I have yet to see that shot that we just filmed of the.
Can't agree with you more. And that's the first thing that I took personally. I took when we rolled up to Fort Smallwood Park in Pasadena, and you roll in there.
That whole team.
Oh my gosh, Jason, Heath, Kevin, the entire team here helped us, walk us through the permitting process, our drone permit, our film permit. They super squad.
They see a different perspective by people who are on the water.
And and this is a county park. This is Anne Arundel County that we're in. Right across the river, Fort Armistead, that's a city park. And that place is completely closed down. And from our vantage point where we're set up right here, there are a lot of visitors coming in, and they're pulling into the parking spots to catch a glimpse, and everybody's got a set of binoculars. They want to come out and see it and try to understand. But from this point, when you roll up here and you look across the river here, look down the river here, and see the massive span laying in the water.
It's crazy.
You can it really starts to set in what a big situation this is.
Think about that, Andy, right? So we're seeing it on the top. Imagine that sonar footage that you showed, right? Everything that's that asphalt, everything from the actual bridge. Like, we're talking about a lot of things have to be removed, and we're talking about thousands and thousands and thousands of tons of debris that they're gonna have to remove from this.
I had some subscribers that commented on the actual road deck, and that system that's on there, and how that deck. We're above the freeze line here. And there's a different set of construction techniques that have to take place because of the freezing conditions that a bridge experiences during the winter months. There are different construction methods that have to be implemented, and the way they're explaining how the road deck is put down and how it is attached there, and then the actual road surface is put on top of that. It's a different scenario from what we see down in the south versus what happens here, and the complexity that causes from that standpoint is you start that you're not just going to be able to run down there with a jackhammer and break it up, or a pneumatic hammer or something and break it up. It's gonna have to be dealt with, and there's going to be a good bit of debris generated from the process of getting it up.
Well, one of the things that I noticed on your channel is there is tons of equipment that when you were documenting the Golden Ray, that they had all types of equipment to use and put. And guys, I don't have on audio on me. Andy has.
That's why we're in here so close.
That's why we're so close, because he has, and I don't mind being close to this man. This is a good man right here. But yes,
highly specialized equipment.
Yes.
That is developed for these kind of operations, and heck, some of the equipment that may need to be used as the process unfolds may not even be here because they're having to construct some of it. That's the the groups that you have out here doing, that's the mindset they have. If we don't have it, what does it take to develop what we got to have for the system that.
Look, we were live here earlier, right? We were live here earlier. We weren't able to show, right, all the quality.
Guys, Alfred, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
But this is some of the debris right here that the park rangers were talking about. This is some of the actual debris from the wreck site. And that may be some of the guys that are surveying this material down on the site. They have had several of these wooden pieces that have washed up onto the beach at Fort Smallwood Park. And I think that was what we were seeing right there was some of the group that may be working to recover that part of the debris. That is either cribbing that came off of the ship, or it may have been part of a fender system around the bridge supports. I'm not 100% sure, but that material has washed up here at the bridge. Can we get another shot of that?
He's got it now. It's timber build though. It could be from, but my guess is that's a commercial. That's not road debris. I don't think.
It's not what?
I don't think that's road debris.
I don't think it's.
That's heavy timber. All of that's heavy.
I don't think it's road debris, but from speaking with the Rangers yesterday, they think that might be cribbing that they use on the ship for setting those containers on, and then it may be part of a fender system that was around, that was there around the supports.
Dolphin fenders?
Right.
Yeah,
right.
Definitely be dolphin fenders.
But they have been experiencing that type of material kind of washing up on the beach here at Fort Smallwood Park in Pasadena, and you guys can see that wind is pushing straight at us, and anything that is in the water kind of bouncing around is going to be, with the currents and all, is eventually going to find its way up here onto the beach. You know, yesterday, and I don't know how many people we've joined to hear in on the chat, but yesterday another recovery was made from one of the construction workers who was up on the bridge. The intention here is to have, let's get everybody home. And I'm sure that everybody that is there working the site, that's in the back of their mind. They want to see, they want to get that closure for not only the families but for themselves. They want to see that happen. This is it's a tough site to work on, even though these guys are professionals, and then they've dealt with those kind of situations before. This is the same operation that Salvage, the Seacor Power. That was a lift boat over in the Gulf. In one of those boats, it has 3 really large pontoons on it, and that boat has the ability to go over, put those pontoons, push them down, and that brings the boat up, and it gives them a stable platform for surveying or laying lines or anything they've got to do there with a stable platform out on the Gulf. Well, they had a storm come up, and one of those ships capsized, and there was a loss of life. This group went out and took care of that job. That happened over in Louisiana, I believe, year, maybe 2 ago. Power Seacor, name of that, or Seacor Power, name of that vessel when that happened.
Andy, I wanted to see if we can let the people in the stream, because this is definitely starting to accumulate views, right? We have more people starting to see the footage of what's going on happening live, guys. We're right here live. We would appreciate it if you guys can go ahead and either share the stream or like the stream, so we can get this video informed to other places. There's a chat going on right now of a live stream that actually captured the event.
Right, the camera.
And there's like 1,500 people there talking, and we're giving a little bit of a more in-depth view right now. So if you guys can go ahead and smash that like button, or just share the stream, it's gonna help us get more people and more attention to this. So and like I said, I know my audio is not the best right now because I don't have an audio.
Yep.
He does, but we wanted to make
Anybody,
sure on such a windy day,
be sure to hit. What are we looking here? We've got 8 likes on the channel with over 240 people.
They're gonna work on that. We got
let's see if we can run that up a little bit here. Maybe get some more people involved, and in the discussion of what's going on here.
I'll tell you, the views that they're seeing with the equipment that we're using, at the distance we're using, it's pretty good.
Yeah, that's another thing a lot of people don't understand. We're actually a little over 4 miles away here from the site.
Yeah, 4 miles.
There is a 2,000-yard marine safety zone that is around the facility, and then there is a TFR with a 3-mile radius in place around the site, which means no drones, no aircrafts unless you have FAA approval, and that approval, a lot of that approval comes from Unified Command for individual requests for, guys, this is still a operation for human life that was lost here on the site. Let's keep that in mind. We are actually right outside the TFR, and we're able to put the drone up. We've had the drone up on our earlier live stream. We're 4 miles away. This is probably the best shot that we can get for you guys, and you can see all those cranes, all the booms on those cranes sticking up.
Think about that crane in this wind.
There's safety concerns just to think about the operation of that.
I mean, it's gusting 35.
It is.
It's gusting, guys, and it's sustained, right? And those cranes move back and forth depending on the weight that they actually pick up.
Any time that you have significant wind loads happening on a job site, and I don't care what you're construction, using a crane for construction, lifting a tank, whatever. Wind load is a very, very real concern for side loading the tip of the boom, and as that happens, the cranes are not designed to withstand an incredible amount of sideways load on the tip. Yeah. They want that load to be straight up and down off the main sheave up there, and when that starts to happen, there are other physics at play, and it could be catastrophic with a significant load on the tip of the boom.
Well, when I was talking to the guys over there in the shows, and I was telling them of all the scenarios. We were talking off camera, obviously, right? And then those conversations come up of equipment and how things have gone under, and things happen, and nobody really likes to talk about that, but the reality is that things can happen. You know, while people are trying to fix something, there could be people that get hurt along the way of this salvage.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. Yeah. That's very, very real situation, and safety is paramount. You don't want to see there's been enough pain inflicted already. You don't want to see that aggravated by somebody getting injured in the process. We're doing the best we can, and we're near
here. 3 channels. We got 3 channels here making this content happen.
That is we've got and everybody is contributing to this.
Yes. We got a lens from one channel,
cameras, live stream equipment,
Starlink from another channel. So there's a little bit of everything here, guys, to give you guys this type of quality. Not to mention, right? Like, you're not seeing Derek, right? Derek is going back and forth right now while we're having the discussion, but he has to switch over from the shot that you guys want to see, which I'm going to put it on now so you guys can see that. Maybe people just came into the stream.
And I want to share with you guys, we got Derek Astorino is here from the Food Boat channel. Alfred Montner is here from his channel down in Miami. And of course, you're here with me, Andy, Captain Andy, with the Menorcan Mullet channel. Thank you guys for being here and being a part of it. And do yourself a favor and maybe take some time to check out those other channels with Alfred Montner and with the Food Boat. Show those guys a little love for what they're out here doing, helping me to bring this and try to tell this story to you guys who maybe aren't getting. That's the one thing that really got started from my time with the Golden Ray. I was able to bring images and bring up commentary on and talked about, and I had a great support system that kind of helped me along the way to help explain what I was seeing. And those relationships I developed during that process have been invaluable, and on some of those to get this port open. That is the ultimate goal here. Get the port open, get this global economy, shipping economy that springs from Baltimore revitalized. They've got a monumental task ahead of them, and you guys are here with us in Baltimore, watching it here live. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, that is true. There are two alternative routes. You know, we talked about, you know, the tunnel, a bridge. There's some traffic that's not able to use the tunnel. Any hazardous material that used the 695 corridor around the east side of the city, you can't take that kind of material through a tunnel. There are Department of Transportation regulations and federal regulations prevent that from happening. So all that traffic is going to have to be rerouted to other routes, available routes. It is an issue, yes. And where we are here in Pasadena, this whole community, anybody here that was the closest route for them, 695 to get around onto the north and get into the city. It's no longer available. Now they've added another 30 minutes of travel time one way to their trip to get there. That's an hour round trip. That's additional expenses and fuel and maintenance, vehicle maintenance costs that's going to have to incur. Not to mention those other two routes now are having to absorb that traffic that was using the Francis Scott Key Bridge. That in turn is going to back up the rest of traffic. And that's going to be a while. Guys, the reality of the situation is there's no easy way to get through the fact that for that area and to handle that 695 traffic. We're hoping to get in to be able to look at some of the action that's taking place there with the cranes and the barges that are taking some of that load.
Derek, so they can see that, because look at this shot. Look at this shot. Look at this shot. Big support over here. We got somebody that just dropped us a $20 super chat. Guys, thank you so much for all the love over here on the channel. That's just awesome.
That is something else. You know, you guys remember me and my channel, and I enjoy doing YouTube. The costs that are incurred, YouTube is we're trying to do to you. There are extra costs that are involved in that, and we certainly appreciate every bit of the help that you guys are able to provide for us.
Go to the other one real quick. He lost his computer, but that's fine. You're good. You're good. You're still on, Andy. You're still on.
Yeah, I'm sure I am. I was just trying to check and see.
You got your tablet.
We're showing the other side of the bridge now.
I'm gonna go plug this into the pond.
It's dead too. If you're going to a power supply, that'd be awesome. Thanks, guys. These aren't the best conditions we're working under, and I am cold right now. We have lost all our sunlight, and it is cloudy. clouds taking out in the gray, and the wind has not stopped. It's cold here in Baltimore. We do have the luxury of a vehicle to warm up in, and I don't know what the wind chill is here, but it's an attention getter for a guy from South Georgia up here. This is it's a little different, and certainly you got to think those guys that are right out there on that side are experiencing these same kind of conditions right now with this wind, and you can see how that the sea state here, and that is the biggest visual indicator I can give you of what this wind is doing out here right now. Patty, thanks so much. We're taking care of Derek. Don't worry about him right now.
I want them to see what's going on here. Andy, I want them to see this. Right? This is those gusts that we're talking about.
You can't fly a drone in that?
How are you gonna fly a drone in this? Look at this. Switch over to this one while I freeze.
We're getting some things straightened out here with the tablet, so I've got a monitor. Mark, no, I never really ever had a mullet on my head, but I've had a lot of smoked mullet. Well, hey, Harvey, yeah, at that time, and we got to take our mind back to the times of COVID and areas being closed down, and we weren't able to gather in groups of more than 6 or 10, and you guys remember those days. One of the things you could do was go to the beach. However, when you have heavy fuel oil rolling up on the beach, it kind of turned people off from there. Yeah, there was they're renting properties, and a lot of that slowed down. So yeah, there was an impact felt by a lot of folks in that area from the Golden Ray, from the residuals that happened. We're hoping to establish, get a listing of those marine systems out there. That's something I'd like to do, to be able to bring you guys that and let you be able to hear what's going on out there over the channel. We're still working on that, still working on trying to bring that to you guys.
It's on him.
Hey Tim, thanks for your help, your financial help there. Anything helps the channel so much. And as I'm here, the sun comes out and there's a little reprieve, and actually, oh, that feels nice to have that hitting us so nicely. Tiger, thanks. And Tiger, we're seeing some of those, we talked about that debris. We see some of that debris crew showing up to look at those pieces and to recover that. We saw a lot of these groups during the Golden Ray. They had marine assets as well as land-based assets. And Unified Command here in Baltimore has actually established a debris hotline where if you have something that you see that's washed up on the beach, to notify them on the hotline. And it's usually a voice recorded line. They're asking for some specific areas and details about what you got. And they're going to get a team out there to investigate it and get that taken care of. But that's what we're seeing right now. And for us, these were daily sweeps at our beach. And I am, you'll probably locally here in the area, you're going to see these teams accessing these same. Come in, tide goes out, winds change. They're going to come back and check these areas, and hopefully be able to recover whatever's up there. And you never know. You never that the material they're developing it's important. You don't want to keep any of this stuff as a keepsake or anything like that. Let the Unified Command know about the debris. Let them get out. Let them look at it, and it may have bearing on the work that some of those agencies are trying to complete. Tiger, I see you got us showing a wind of 26. Is that gust? Are we looking at 26 gust or maybe more? Mark is wanting to know about the how the channel came to name. My heritage, I am Minorcan. Minorcans came to this country into Florida in the 1700s as indentured servants. And some were pressed a little farther into what would be called slavery. There was a revolt where those people came in a place called New Smyrna. That group migrated from New Smyrna to St. Augustine, Florida, the nation's oldest city. That time was a young city at a fort there in the wilds of Florida. They came to be part of the population there. But that's where it came from, Minorcan, and the mullet is, of course, the fish.
Look at that visual. Look at that visual.
Yeah, that's Don John right there. And let's take a
visual. They're moving in. Sorry to interrupt. I just wanted you to comment on that because that's a big shot right there. That's actually work in progress right there.
Guys, that's resources right now. That's another Don John crane that's coming into coming in there. I'm not sure exactly which one that is. We're going to find out. We're going to find out exactly what's going on right here. That looks like it's showing up on our tracker as a Douglas J. Now sometimes these vessels they'll change hands and they may not get updated as quickly as you would like. I'm trying to pull up a closer part of this image to take a look at it. Bear with me here. This is news that's happening right here, and we're trying to bring this to you as we can. I'm looking back across the tug, back to the doghouse, and It's definitely the Douglas J moving in. I wish I have that right now. The Douglas J, though, we can see here, that's 115, it's a 115 foot long tugboat. It is part of Donjon's fleet. It's a single screw tug with 4,800 horsepower. Um, she is a ship that is well capable of ocean towing. It appears to be. I think they'd already got the 256, the Farrell 256 Donjon had in place. Is that possibly the Jamaica Bay? It's possibly the derrick barge or the Jamaica Bay with a Manitowoc crane on it. Maybe the Rotarian Bay. So that's news. That is a vessel right now arriving. Even as we speak, additional resources being poured onto the site. Can we go back to a shot of the? It's there.
Yeah, it's there.
All right, a little latency right here for me.
They're moving quick.
But more equipment making now. Guys, I'm sorry. What our Tiger moderator is monitoring the conditions for us, and we can see, yeah, they're showing a steady wind of 26 here, gusting to 35 miles an hour. Not it's not pleasant weather, certainly, to be out working on the water. These guys are doing it without a thought of it. With a small craft advisory in effect till 2 a.m. Sunday morning. So hopefully by tomorrow around daybreak, we begin to see conditions beginning to get a little better for the crews that are here working.
I'm on him now.
But if we look at,
It's on you, Andy. You can just explain what this is, why he.
yeah, what we're looking at right here is some of Donjon's fleet coming in. I'm still trying to identify what that vessel is, what it's got on it. I can't see if it's a crawler crane or whether it is a. And it looks like it is. It looks to me from here that is. It's just really hard to tell. It's just really hard to tell with these conditions if that's a crawler crane or what. But additional resources from Donjon being pulled onto the scene. And I'm thinking it's possibly the Jamaica Bay.
It's moving.
Or what I believe is the
We're gonna show.
the Rotarian Bay. But this is a They're both showing Manitowoc cranes with a boom of about 130 foot boom on it. Good bit of reach on something like that. More resources pouring onto the scene.
Okay, I just want you to see, I want them to see that are coming here to this park. You see them over here, Andy. There's already a large number of a crew that are coming over here. You'll see that now in a minute. But if you look to your right, they're all wearing their vest, and they're going ashore. You'll see it now.
Yeah, that's going to be part of that debris recovery group. Again, all that's established on Unified Command. You find debris, you call the phone number, and give them the information of what you're seeing and your location, and they're going to send a group out to investigate. And if it's something there, they're going to recover it. And it may be something that one of the investigating agencies could possibly use for the ongoing investigation. So it's probably important to give these guys, my point is, if you're in the area and you're watching the stream and you encounter this debris, don't pick it up and try to hold on to it as a keepsake. Notify the guys. It may be important for them to know about. There's a lot of missing pieces and parts that are ongoing here with the process. And it looks like, did we get a name off that truck that just pulled in?
I'll have to go over there.
That's the contractors right there that are involved here with the removal process. So this is going to be pretty interesting to see, guys. We're gonna see. And this is just another aspect of the whole operation, the recovery of this material that's made its way up to the beach. And you guys are seeing it as it's happening right here on the channel. We're again at Fort Smallwood Park in Pasadena. Onto the beach to grab this material, and I can't, from our vantage point right here, I can't tell if they are actually, if they're at material, if there's material there they're looking at, but we can definitely see that there's some material that's on the beach, over here that's washed up right here in front of us, and we'll probably see these guys come down here to take a look at this. And this material was identified to us by the rangers as coming up after the incident. And these are swimming beaches in this area right here that we're at right here, and you can see that they've installed a kind of a rock, kind of a wave, a breakwater here. And Derek has just brought us here. That's the Miller Environmental Group, and that's part of the group here that is working with Unified Command to recover the debris. This right where we are right here, guys. This is a very popular beach area during the summer. People come down and take advantage of this, and you can see that they got that breakwater there to do exactly what it's doing now. When you get these winds in here, it kind of makes for a nice little beach area for the park goers. But they've got a pretty big response team out here. And as doing recovery on the water from marine resources or on land. We talked about that as well too.
I want to get the tug. I want to get the tug going to the bridge. So talk to him about that. 'Cause look how far along it is.
Yeah, we see Moran or Donjon, Douglas J, in the process of transporting that barge out to the site, and it looks to me he's probably still a mile and a half from the bridge. I know the image is one that is, it looks like everything they load onto a barge at the site has to be moved to an area over here at Sparrow Point where they're going to unload that material from a barge, and then it'll be processed and go to different places from that location. Still a raw day, and a lot going on right here in front of us with the recovery teams, and watching more assets arriving at the scene. Can we go back to that debris? Is that possible? Can you pull that shot up again?
Yeah, let's get the tug real quick because I just had to push it there. You good with the tug?
Yeah, it's almost there. So and I had to just adjust it.
It's on you.
We'll go and we're going to take a look at those additional resources here. Again, Douglas J tugboat. It's one of Donjon's tugboats, part of their fleet arriving on site. Yeah, David, what you're probably seeing with that timber, it's either cribbing that might be used on the ship underneath some of the stack, or it's part of a fender system, a timbered fender system that possibly would have been around the support pier of the Francis Scott Key Bridge. And yeah, they're working today. They're working every day to try to resolve this problem. A very fluid situation, and we're going to see the process evolve. They can do, and you'll see them modify their procedures to get the job done. But it is a fluid, it is an ever evolving work site. We'd expect that this group, another big player in the environmental side, the recovery part of this, Moran Environmental Resources group that I'm familiar with. They have marine assets. We may see a group like that. All depends on, this. They're going to be looking. They're going to be finding this whole thing, this whole area is going to be looked over, and it's going to be looked over a lot. They're going to have teams out looking at this stuff at different times, different places, and again, here, this is the timber system that is kind of washed up. And what we think just looking at, we can see it looks like some heavy hardware coming out of it, maybe some carriage bolts or something like that, of a fender system that was probably part it's going to be interesting to see where the Douglas J heads with that material, or that barge that they just brought in.
What are you, Andy? What is that camera?
What's that?
He's on that camera. He's on that camera. Yeah, the thing is on.
We're having some issues. Fine. Oh, are we on this camera right here?
We're on you.
We're on
you.
camera.
These guys are starting to go to work over here. Let's see if we can get.
To adjust the camera.
These guys getting that up, and we've got some more down here. They'll get coordinates on it. It's collection of information. Not only going to get it, but they're going to get the information of where it is. And they'll also know who recovered it. Because I think what I'm going to do right here is I am going to pass. Let these guys, I'm going to take about a 10-minute break, and I'm going to be back with you here. This is the stuff you're seeing right here. You're not going to see anywhere else. I can promise you that. Gotcha. Well, I'll be right back with you guys.
Uh-oh. I got big shoes to fill here. Andy with the Menorcan mullet just passed the mic, aka the proverbial torch, over to me. And that's a big burden. So I'm usually talking about food and something less serious than this. And here I am talking to y'all about this. So, give me a few minutes first then, because before I started the Food Boat channel, I had a marine construction company, so some of this stuff is kind of my lane, and then not. But Andy's exactly right. Those heavy timbers are timbers. It's through bolts, big old hot dip galvanized through bolts that are sticking through them that you see. And I think we're ready to switch over to that one. So they hot dip galvanized. They're playing around with them, trying to figure out what's going on with those. You're going to see a lot more action going on this beach. Some of this debris could be from being around the water, especially in the construction realm. Some of this debris is also just kind of happens in the salt environment. But there's definitely a whole lot of heavy timber on the waterways here, and I mean on the beach here, and they'll take it all, figure out which is part of the bridge and which is not. They've got a lot going on out here, and I'm not sure. Starts getting a little bit lower in the sky, like Andy mentioned earlier. You can see the torch that is out on the bridge constantly cutting that steel. But like Andy mentioned, you're dealing with steel that's been bent and twisted in all sorts of ways. And it's going to take a minute for them to figure out the safe way to remove it off of a ship. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. We mentioned that before on the channel. And it's definitely not something you can rush. That steel will bind and twist on itself out there, and it makes everything more, like I said, I'm usually behind the camera on this channel. That you are on me. Looks like Alfred's ready to put you back on this. Taking notes as to what stuff is, and try. There's more going on to the left and right as they sort out different things. Some of that's 2x construction, some of that's definitely heavy timber in the 10x, 12x range. But it's all big, heavy stuff. So I'm on this one. But we're going to be able to see what's going on as they mess with it out here. I will say the beach is closed here. I did see the comment section. The beach is definitely closed for some of y'all's concerns too. Having been on the water, working on the water, we've found different body parts and bodies, and it is a really upsetting thing, and it's not something you want a beachgoer to find. And until people are recovered, I'm sure these beaches are going to stay closed. We've got a memory of a job. I mean, we've had. I don't actually don't want to talk about it. It's not the time nor the place to talk about stuff like that. But it's something that you don't want to see. And I mean, it's interesting stuff for y'all to see the content of them gathering the debris. But the rest of it is, we'll just leave it at that. You're about to see some men do some work. Those of you who are regular to my channel and know who I am, you know work is a four-letter word to me. It amazes me. I can sit around and watch it all day, but I don't like partaking in it. So this right here, ladies and gentlemen, is right up my alley. They're probably gonna wait till they can get something to cut that bolt. They need to cut a couple bolts if they're gonna remove that by hand. Otherwise, they need a piece of equipment to assist. You're looking at probably a 6x12 stuck to another 6x12, stuck to maybe another 6x12. Those, I can't quite tell from here, but those are 6x somethings, and that's a lot of meat. You're probably looking at 800 pounds worth of timber there. You're about to see this. You're about to see these guys do some work. Yep, he's got. Yeah. Men at work. Them doing work.
How you doing?
Doing well. How you doing, man? They're sneaking up all over the place, about to do more work. Grab. Maybe if I leave, they'll get more work done. Yep. I went to a whole nother state. We all know dad dude's getting work done without me, but yeah, these are heavy. This is heavy timber. That was definitely a 6x6 he took off there, but those other ones were girders and whatnot. Marine construction, just in general, I know these guys are out doing the cleanup on the marine side, but marine construction in general is just hard work. I mean, it's hard work. These guys out doing this salvage job, doing the cleanup job, everything everything about this. There's no easy day, and for these guys up here, even though it looks cold, we're telling you how cold and windy it is. This is just a regular day for these guys. Like, this is hard work, and that's what they do.
They're getting that thing out of here right now.
Right now.
Just now.
Right now.
And this is going to be ongoing.
Yeah.
Over and over and over. More debris will come in. I'll tell you, there's going to be a lot more things that come this way as well.
Oh yeah, a lot more.
You know, you never know what comes this way, and let's hope that there's nothing else that after that bridge is removed from the actual cargo ship, because we don't know what's going to happen at that point.
No.
There's a lot of things that can happen still.
There's a lot. Yeah.
So this is the beginning process of the cleanup. Because it's just going to be continuous coming into these beaches, and the locals obviously come over here and they enjoy these beaches.
Yeah, this is a local hangout. I mean, yesterday when Andy and I were here, I mean, there's people that pull up. I mean, you can see it right now. They're pulling up as the day's getting done. There's cars pulling up. Yes, there's work being done, but there's other cars that are pulling up. Did I just? There's other cars pulling up that they're just gonna come up here and eat a sandwich, maybe drink a beer. Stuff here now that's gonna interfere with that routine. It's very real stuff going on.
Let's let them know. Andy Jones is working the phones.
He is working the phones.
So that's a extremely positive.
Yeah. Andy gets calls like on the way up here.
I mean, think about it. Like,
yeah.
Like, guys, there's a lot of valuable information that you're not going to see anywhere happening right now. Like, look at this. Look, we're going to switch over. Look.
Look at that work being done.
You're seeing the cleanup happen as it's happening. This is not going to be on your 10 o'clock news. This is right now.
Yeah. Yeah, this is very valuable stuff here. And it's very interesting just to be here. Like, I mean, y'all get to see it right now on your television screen or your tablet. But like, it's very interesting and very humbling to be able to see this with cell phone. Who knows who he's on the phone with talking, what he's coordinating, what he's got in store next as this story develops for you, the situation develops, because that's what he does. And he wants to bring you the best quality content to tell this story for those men right now that are on the screen. Andy loves telling the story for them. He loves showing these men and women and what they do, the work conditions that they work in, and like, that is very like humbling to know somebody like Andy. But I've said all I can say. I don't know what to do with my hands, so I'm going to pass the mic back.
You, sir. I've always said this. Is one of the best series I've ever seen on YouTube. And I when I first met Andy, and you wanted the world to see, hey, we want to make sure that I'll say, because you were there every single day, I know for a fact, and you'll probably get this pat on the back now after the fact, that a lot of people didn't cut corners because you were there.
I would like to think so.
Listen, I would guarantee you that now afterwards, since it's already passed, they'll say, you know what? We did do things because we knew that there was always somebody there. And for you and for me, I'll tell you, and your state, the state of Georgia, should be thankful that there's people like yourself and others, right, that did a lot to make sure that area, which was beautiful, that pier. I mean, when I first went over there, what did I did? I went fishing with my daughter on the beach, and there was a dead shark shaking.
Right.
Because of the fuel, because of everything that had happened there.
Well, I tell you, Alfred, at the end of this month, I'm scheduled to be over with the the Georgia Clean Water Coalition, and that work that we put into around surrounding the Golden Ray incident, they selected me to receive one of the Georgia Clean 13 awards for what we did out there, and letting people know.
Yes.
It's very well deserved.
It's well deserved.
Very well deserved. Andy.
No doubt.
And,
No doubt.
And Andy, I know the
Let me
people
go
at the
back
other
to
end of
that.
the screen, like Alfred just said, I know the people at the other end of the screen are excited that you're on this because nobody's going to tell this story better than you.
Well,
You're going to dig and you're going to get them the story. And I know frustrated. Andy, I know you were a little frustrated, but this
the whole team that's associated with the incident, and this is just another that was part of the incident, and this is going to be something that's continued. These guys are going to continue to scour the areas of where this debris might be up, and they're going to get it cleaned up and
Look,
straightened
it's
out. And this is
something-
all part of it.
And something that we just saw, right? That's been in here that the ranger had noticed. It's going to be gone here in about 10-15 minutes because they're continuing. They're actually cutting this up right now.
And that's another neat thing about Unified Command and what they've implemented, the reporting system where people, if they find something, to notify them, and they're going to get people out to evaluate it and then respond with a
With
group
this
to
wind,
take care of it.
this weather, this current, we're going to see lots of things coming onto this park. And this park will be on the news in the next several weeks, for sure. I mean, I'm almost certain, just because of the way that the movement is coming to this area. And look at this little break on the wall here, right? Like, there's so many things that are going to come onto this beach right here when
Sure.
people come in.
And the
regardless-
tide's down here too. Understand that.
Oh yeah.
When the tide gets up, it's going to get up over there, and the way that it's being driven by the wind, it'll if there's anything out there, it's going to get pushed back up. And this is one of those spots that'll happen. And we're right here in the area where this activity is taking place, and you can see the guys they're working right on down the beach. They're identifying the
Yeah,
pieces
they're going
that are
all
there,
the way down. Yeah.
and they're going to get it.
All
They're
the
going
way
to get this material picked up.
I'm gonna go work those cameras.
All part of the team, and not to,
Alfred, I'm on that one.
you see what's going on right here, and just 4 miles away from us, those groups that are over there are working on the bigger pieces and the immediate need to open up the channelway into the port. And from my vantage point right now, Alfred, do we have a picture of the ship? All right, can you guys see that torching that's taking place right now? I can see it happening just over on the would be the left side of the work area over there. You can see that flash of light. That's torching that's taking place right now, where they're working on cutting those beams out of there. Ongoing process to move that debris so that they can get that channel opened up. And this is kind of the same time yesterday when we've got some cloud cover here, and we are starting to lose a little light here. And as that happens, you're really starting to be able to see some of that activity that's taking place while we're here, and seeing those teams working. It's an incredible story that's unfolding here in Baltimore. We'll let you hold this just another second. I'm good. I'm good.
You have your Gatorade is in that bag.
All right, I'm gonna try to grab a battery.
Okay. Uh-oh.
What's going on? Who's got mic?
I've got the mic right now. Again, unfortunately for all you viewers, you're listening to me, Derek, talking to you. Andy is going back to go get a battery because he wants to put a drone in the air.
Drone in the air with
And
30
give
mile per hour winds.
30 mile an hour per winds.
Why
That's
not
what
lose the drone?
that's what he
right.
does.
This is his fourth one.
That's what he does.
This is the fourth one he lost.
Andy is known for getting you that drone shot, and he's going to get you that drone shot. Even if it means a bloop, bloop, bloop. Isn't that why you flew up here?
Bloop, 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 bloop. Hey, wait for it.
Look at this. Look at this. You know they're looking to get a lot of debris. They're looking to bring a lot of debris back at this park because look at that. They just keep bringing in truck after truck after truck.
I'm willing to do a fire pit if you guys. I mean, we can make that wood useful, guys. What do you guys think?
No,
Comment below.
you don't burn that wood.
No.
That wood is either creosote or chromated copper arsenic, depending on the age of it. If it's from any dolphin or cribbing that was protecting the piers, it could be chromated copper arsenic, but the fact that it's mostly built in the 70s, it's probably creosote.
Look at this, just more stuff being removed.
You want cancer? That's how you get cancer.
Well, for the record, I'm from Miami and we don't know anything about firewood. So, I mean, we buy it at the grocery store.
Publix has it in the bundles.
That's it. That's the most we'll get. You go to St. Simon, Georgia, and there's a note on the side that says, "Pick your firewood and leave the money here on a rock."
Yeah. Andy sells firewood and supplies firewood to most of St. Simon's. But this stuff right here, like I said, there's two different options. It's either creosote, which is really nasty stuff, or it could be the lesser of two evils, which is chromated copper arsenic, which the chromium is the bonding element. The copper is there to stop molds and fungus, and then the arsenic is to stop wood borers from eating it. All of those are very nasty elements that you don't want to inhale and burn.
How are we doing with likes, comments? Did some people from the actual live stream that have been watching that, they know that this is happening?
It keeps going
there's a lot of comments.
up and down.
There's a lot of comments going in.
We're at 146 likes on my screen. We'll see. Maybe I'll reload it.
Yes, because I'll tell you, it would be a disservice for a lot of people not to see this content, right? Because it's so raw.
Yeah. There's 115 likes right now. I'm sorry, there's 115 watching it. There's 146 likes.
Okay.
So
we're getting there.
We're getting there. We're how long into this stream? Hour and a half, 2 hours, somewhere around there. It's been a while, but there's a lot of activity going on. You know the problem though, you being from Miami,
what?
Is it's getting colder again.
Don't even tell me about that.
It's getting colder again.
Don't even tell me about that. I came in for the night.
I know.
And, I packed. Let's just say that I packed for Spirit Airlines, right? I didn't want.
And it didn't?
It didn't. But let me give you some advice. You wear your pajamas under. So you have 3 shorts, 2 pants, and 1 pajamas. And that's how you don't have to pack. I looked ridiculous at the airport, but listen.
Probably smelled a little funky too. Huh?
It's all right. The wife's not here.
What does it matter?
Well, we've got our power inverter on our drain batteries got switched off. We've re-engaged that, so we're still waiting on the Air Force, the Menorcan Air Force, to get fueled up.
Here, don't. We'll probably get a little bit of that activity. I'm good right now.
About what was going on, and then I sent some pictures and video of this activity to Unified Command.
Yes.
So that they could have that for their.
So Andy was on the phone with Unified Command, huh?
Oh, you were on the phone with Unified Command? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Let's
great.
put the mic in a little
So
tighter.
listen, and this is the information that we need out there.
Yeah.
Right? So they're gonna think nothing's happening, but this is what happens. The media's not gonna always be here, and you know, we got doing what we can to document for the time that we're here. You're still gonna document when you're not here, right? But you're gonna use the other YouTube channel.
Yep, and we're gonna share that as soon as we can get those images together of some activity that was taking place over in the port.
Yes, that's
Again, all
huge.
part of the story.
But that's the things that people won't know. You won't know. Your perception is one thing, and then the reality is another. And then from there, people don't even realize, uh-oh, this hiccup just came up, and we didn't think about that, right?
Right, sure.
So situations, you know, there's so many things that people are right now making decisions based on what's happening. All right, we didn't think about this. We gotta adjust our plan based on this new variable.
You're exactly right, and I've said it's a fluid situation,
It's
Alfred.
fluid. It's fluid.
Everything it's moving, it's evolving the entire time.
Is that dying?
No.
Oh. Well, listen, I'm technically frozen.
I am too. It's very cold.
I think somebody said that they just saw the grandpa.
We got more
boat
resources coming
on
on.
Facebook Marketplace.
The grandpa boat has been sold.
Mrs. Montaner put it on Facebook Marketplace.
She put it on Facebook Marketplace, and she has sold it.
All it took was getting Alfred on a plane
That's
to
it.
Maryland,
That's it.
and now the grandpa boat's gone.
Yeah,
Huh?
I lost Tremendo Raft, which was my 18-foot rib boat. That's gone. The engine for the 250 is
Yeah,
on
250's
Joe's boat. I think I'm gonna be bootless soon. But
All jokes aside,
I got a friend with a Parker Minorcan mullet over here in St. Simon, and I got a buddy with a barge in Charleston.
all jokes
What else
aside,
would I need?
You wanna make this announcement, Alfred?
What?
Would you like to? Inbound with additional resources coming onto the scene with a barge. This is another Donjon.
Another one coming.
Yep.
As we're breaking
Yep.
news again.
Yep. The Atlantic Enterprise
It's coming.
is inbound right now.
The cavalry, right?
It
So
continues.
for real, like I was just joking about the grandpa boat.
The grandpa boat. What grandpa boat? I kept the camera system.
You got rid of the grandpa boat?
I got rid of the grandpa boat, but I kept the camera system. The
Oh,
mount.
Stop! Don't mess with us.
Hey, listen, I guess you're gonna have to watch my YouTube channel. Alfred Montaner, wait for it. Get your hats. Hey, this has been pretty cool. I mean, we're breaking news. We're literally, we're from Florida, Georgia, and
Is that it?
and Charleston. Yes, that's it.
That's it.
I'm
That's
gonna
it.
zoom into it.
That's
I'm
the
gonna zoom
Atlantic
into it so we can see
Enterprise.
that.
You said it's got a tug, or it's got a.
It looks
barge
like
inside?
they've got. I can't really. It looks like they've got a barge. It looks
Oh, it's
like
on the hip?
yeah. And it's inbound right now. You're going to continue to see more and more equipment moving
You ready?
into the area. Just as to give you guys a kind of a little bit of an understanding here, the park kind of sits out on a point right here, and part of it is wooded along the shoreline, and so part of the camera view is obscured. It's going to be coming into frame in just a moment as it reaches that Sparrows Point area heading into the port of Baltimore. And we're going to get you guys, it looks like to me that they have a barge and it's on the hip, and they are bringing it in. We'll get a better image of that here momentarily and be able to share that with you guys here. And this is kind of what these are the kind of things that I like to bring. It's a different perspective from what you're going to see through the mainstream media of the activities that take place during the process of rectifying the situation. These resources that come in and what they are and what they do. That in itself is a story to me.
To that one?
Yeah. And there you go, guys. You can see that coming in. Arriving at the casualty. Here we go, yeah. And we talk about it being on the hip. You can see the image there of the tugboat, and that barge is over on her starboard side. One of those resources arriving, the Atlantic Enterprise. Let's see if we can pull up on our marine traffic app. And Don John's website. The Atlantic Enterprise. That tug's 135 feet long. And let's, you know, when I look at this, one of the, you know, we've talked about those temporary waterways that are being opened up around the bridge sites, and one having a 14-foot draft at the max, the other one having an 11-foot. And just to look at that tugboat right there, and off the Don John's website, that particular vessel requires a draft of 22 feet. That is the Atlantic Enterprise. And what I was just talking about to our people, you know, they opened up these temporary waterways around the bridge.
Yeah. One
One with a 14-foot draft, the other with an 11-foot draft.
Yeah.
That tugboat would not be able to make that round. That boat requires 22 feet to operate. So it would be precluded. It wouldn't be able to.
That information is telling you that's what it needs.
Yeah, what I'm telling you is that vessel would not go over to the west side of the operation
At this point.
right now.
Right now.
They'll have to have, if say that piece of equipment that they're bringing in right now is needed on the west side, it's going to have to go to a vessel that requires less draft on around there.
You know, I'm surprised that this wind has not come down at all since yesterday. It's been blowing.
And
is that like a known thing for this area, or?
You're cold.
Oh, I'm freezing. But,
I'm cold.
Okay, but
What's going on out here with these?
Yeah, they're in the water.
What's going on with these guys out here right now?
Well, listen, I'll tell you what. We can get close enough to tell the whole story. I mean, we're pretty much closer than anybody while we're live.
Sure.
So I mean, just a perspective shot of how much of the bridge has been lost. A lot of people have not seen that. Yeah, that was the other shot that
Yeah.
we just had there.
Yeah,
So
there we go. We're
okay,
back
so we've
back on the
seen-
site now.
Okay, so we've seen 2 tugboats, a crane on one.
Yep, yep.
So even if they're not going to work today, they're moving the assets to get to where they want them for tomorrow and the following days.
That crane that they just brought in right now,
Okay.
it would not surprise me if that asset is not put into position if it's needed. Those guys will have that thing up and operational within the hour
Wow.
if it's needed. If they'll figure out where. See spuds on that barge. They may be securing something like that with an anchor system. You know, they'll bring in huge anchors as needed to place them
Yeah.
around.
Already, just so they can.
So they're there and they can get on them
Because
and
I was
set them.
thinking about that, like what's going to happen? They got 2 anchors on the Dali right now, right? On the stern
No,
of the
there's
boat.
actually 4.
No, I'm saying on the stern of the boat. They
4.
got 2 of them. They got 4 in the stern.
4.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
I
there's
thought
4.
I thought there was 2.
There's 4.
Okay, and that was my next situation that I said, wow, this wind. Let's just say that the tide comes up. What's gonna happen at that point, right?
Right.
Like think about it. It's blowing as much as it's blowing. It's a dead ship right now.
That was a huge concern to the groups that were out there.
All right.
Whether
Think
that
about- think
if
about
that
it. It
if
could
that
be-
ship could start swinging
Yes, it'll be even
and could
more
cause
catastrophic.
more problems.
Yes, it'll end up here.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know how deep this area is right here, but at some point it would have to stop if it's shallow enough. But yes, then it could be a nightmare scenario, right?
Yeah.
Because think about it. At that point, you got basically a sanded a ship on
Not- and it-
compared to where the actual channel is.
Yeah, and that's a maintained channel,
Oh.
maintained in the
Oh,
sense
yeah.
that they have to dredge it.
Yeah.
This
Huge problem that could be.
this area is susceptible, just like we are with our channel at home,
Yeah.
to silting from the material that gets drifted around in the current, and the
Yes,
wind, and that
yes.
kind of thing. And you have to maintain it, and that's a process that's an ongoing process. It really never stops when they.
So, okay, you're gonna be here. Are you gonna be here tomorrow? Are you gonna do a live tomorrow? What do you?
For some more video and maybe some shots that we can get.
Well, too, that I wanted to come over here and assist so they can go ahead and see this and then get a little bit of content. For just a camera without being live, because I
Right.
want to show them
Yeah.
this amazing stuff that we're filming.
And a lot of what we're doing because of how we're live streaming this event, the equipment that I have,
Environment.
right,
Right now,
and
we're not in a controlled environment because of the conditions.
there are some constraints when we're live
Yes,
streaming that
yes,
we won't have to
absolutely.
worry about
Yeah.
on getting, and the same equipment that we're using to bring these images, I have to use them for the live stream.
Yes.
So we can't, it's kind of a two-edged sword for me from a standpoint of gathering video to share with you guys.
But I mean, it's.
I'm hoping tomorrow
It's
we
gonna
can maybe get down a little earlier. The wind is supposed to drop off from what we've heard from our moderator in Tiger, that in our chat, the small craft advisory is supposed to be lifted about 2 in the morning tomorrow. So hopefully we'll see these winds diminish.
And we've seen the rangers coming back and forth, making sure that everything is good on the ranger side of this park, right?
Yeah,
Because-
they're you know, and this is, you see the crowd that's here. It's a constant. People are coming in and they're looking and they want to see what's going on in their community, right? They want to know what's happening, and that's really why I'm here. I want to help.
Yeah.
Kind of share the story. So if they want another resource to go to,
Yes.
they've got that to be able to look at.
Technique coming in, you know what? It's 4 o'clock on a Saturday. I guarantee you they're not going to put that on the nightly news tonight.
No,
right?
No.
And then tomorrow there's going to be more assets coming in. And when it's all said and done,
What that tug's got, but that tug's coming in too.
another tug coming in.
Another tug.
Another tug. Breaking news again.
Looks like a barge.
And that's kind of what we're gonna do. I'm gonna get on the camera, see if we can show them that.
Let's take a look here and see who else we've got inbound here. Thomas D. Witt is the barge that they're talking about.
Put them on you.
And I'm looking. There may not be the Tom. Hold, stand by. Guys, the barge, the tug that is inbound right now is the Miss Isla, I-L-A. She is inbound, and looking, I just kind of expanded back my tracker and looked, and there's actually another vessel, the Thomas D. Witt, inbound as well. The Thomas D looks like another John resource. It's still inbound to the point I can't really see what it's pulling. But the Miss Isla, as I can kind of see through the wooded areas, that's a very large barge. We're not able to see the name of the barge and be able to pull it up. But just looking at it, and I'm looking through I'm looking through the wooded area here at it, trying to catch a peek at it. It looks like it's possibly some kind of deck barge coming in. Derek, behind that one, we've got another one that is arriving as well.
So we're here for a little bit, huh? We're here for a little bit as tugs come in.
Well, I think that's part of the story that we.
Oh, it's definitely part of the story. There's another one stacked up behind it coming in. So.
There's two tugs behind it.
Yeah, we've got one guy coming in here. See him through the woods.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna
And we got
get a shot of those guys with those tugs.
Got another inbound that looks like a Donjon asset, the Thomas D. Witt, that's inbound as well. And let's take a look.
So who's this tug?
This is the Miss Isla, I-L-A.
Out of where?
I am not.
What fleet?
I can't tell from this who the actual owner is of the boat. Let's see if we can take a look at some of these images and see if we can see an identifier on the barge that might give us an idea. And I don't see. A lot of times these tugboats will have a company identifier on the side of it, and you can take a look and try to identify. You can identify them that way. I'm not familiar with this tug, and I don't see
any
from
identifiers
from the images that I'm looking at, I don't see it there.
I wonder if chat knows. Have you asked chat?
I have not. That might be a good idea. There might be.
Some of these guys on chat are pretty quick at getting that for us.
Might be familiar.
ILA, huh?
Yeah. I was trying to look at possibly a stern picture, and there's nothing visible there. So, not sure about that tug, but we will take a look at.
So you said the other one behind it's a Donjon asset?
It's the Thomas DeWitt. It's inbound behind that one. That vessel, on their Donjon's website, they call that one a harbor or a coastal tug. So it's not what you would consider an ocean-going tug.
Right.
It's a little bit smaller, 85 feet in length. It is. Let's take a look here and see if we can find.
Let me go see what angle
I don't see a draft. Any information here on the draft of that ship, but at 85 feet, it's a smaller tug, and the designation of it being a harbor and coastal tug would give me the indication that might be one of their resources that would, in fact, be able to move material resources to the western approach or western side of the bridge. She's a twin screw.
How big are the wheels on that? Does it tell you?
They're 78 by 62, so 78 inches in diameter, 62 of probably they got that much. They're just turning them slow because they're on EMDs, which those aren't really what you'd consider a fast turning diesel. They're a torque diesel.
No.
There.
But that blade's bigger than me.
It's big. Yeah.
That blade's got 6 inches on me.
Yeah, it's big blade.
That blade's is Alfred. Yeah. The blade on those is the wheel on those is as tall as you.
The wheels are what?
Those things are 6'5".
The what?
The props on the tugs.
On the
Yeah.
Wow. Like my height.
Yeah, it's as big as.
No, not ripped, right?
not
I don't want
ripped, not
competition
ripped.
Over here. I mean, I'm
That'll-
from Miami,
it'll-
I'll feel vulnerable.
It will rip. Trying to get a good shot of that.
Captain Brian said that belongs to Sterling Equipment Company.
And we don't know. It's hard to tell.
Probably a chartered tug then.
It's hard to.
Got it?
Saw some of these during the Golden Ray operation.
There's no crane on it. They're going to put debris on that.
That would be a deck barge that they would to stack stuff on.
Yeah, they're going to stack steel on that thing all day long. What do you think the height on that thing is?
This barge
Yeah.
from the water to the
From the water to the top
deck,
of the deck right now.
20, 25 feet maybe.
I bet you every bit of it.
Yeah, it's going to be
bet
a
you.
lot.
What's the question?
From the water to the top of the deck on that barge, it's probably every bit of 20 feet, maybe higher.
Wow, the other one that I was on the other day was about 15 feet.
From top deck to keel, or above the water.
Oh no, from the water to the top of the. This one you're saying from the keel all the way to where?
Oh no, I'm saying from the water to
From
the
the
top.
water to the deck on that thing's
yeah,
probably
it's huge. Look
20,
at the
25
size
feet.
of the thing. It looks like a building.
And like when you consider salt water, because that's what we're in, right?
Yeah.
Salt water is 64 pounds per cubic foot.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to figure out displacement, how much steel you can stack on that thing. So you're going to take length times width times height and multiply it by 64, and that gives you the weight that it can displace.
How do we get back to us over here? Because they lost that shot.
I'll go get them with that.
You're on right there on that one right there, Alfred.
Any other assets coming in over here, Andy?
Yeah,
What do we got? We got that barge. It's
well,
huge.
the thing I'm seeing, and I'm seeing one of the
one's coming back.
One is
He's
moving
coming
back.
empty. Yeah.
And so whatever he has dropped off, let me.
That's the one that dropped off the other one.
Oh, it is.
What app are you using so they can know what app and they want to?
This is marine traffic.
Okay.
And I've told people
exactly some of the movements on the water. You can see some of these commercial tugs, and I've personally been on a bunch of tugboats with these guys. Not here, but I have a tugboat series, and these are the most impressive people you will meet on earth. When I tell you, they are so skilled, it's incredible.
that is the Ezra. At one time it was called the Copper Mountain, but the Ezra Soul is what that.
Look, they're like passing each other.
The name
right
of that
now,
tug.
Eric. They're passing each other. Look at that.
And it is
Look at that shot.
outbound.
Look at that shot. Yeah, that's it. It's on it. Oh man, that is so cool, dude. That is so cool. You see that? That is America at work. See that? See that, Andy? That's impressive, dude. Just love.
Okay.
Oh, he's gonna help him.
All right,
He's gonna help him.
the Ezra Soul is meeting,
Yes, he's gonna help him.
and I
Stay
need.
on that shot. Stay on that shot. He's gonna help him.
Cold. It is so cold over here. I wish we could get some communications established here to be able to bring this to you guys. Alfred,
Yeah.
I'm going to have some beeping and stuff going on here. I want to try to find this.
All right. Yeah. All right, guys. I'm on the mic real quick. We're gonna try to see what we can capture. Derek is on. Derek, it's on you. It is very windy, so if you guys hear a little bit of, yes, but that is, it's pretty cool that we can bring you guys this content, right? Because of how we've had to do the whole setup and because it's live, the tripod setup isn't as smooth as we would like, but it's sufficient to at least tell the story, which is what we want to show you guys. Look at this. Look at this tug over there, guys. And I'll tell you, remember, they're going against the wind right now. So they're definitely working. What a shot, dude. That is awesome. And to think that this is probably going to be ongoing, the whole day, night. They're gonna do this. I don't even know what the comments are going on, guys. We ran out of battery on our phones a while ago. Let me see if I can find out what some of the comments are. We got 117 people here participating, guys, on this. We're in Baltimore, Maryland. We're filming the Dali. We're here. And we've been all day kind of giving you guys the breakdown. We had cleaning crews over here cleaning up this beach in this local park. You got 3 YouTube channels here. We obviously got Andy Jones from the Menorcan Mullet, who's covering this entire catastrophe, because this is a huge catastrophe here in Maryland, and obviously people are starting to absorb how big this is. This is going to be an ongoing issue, but it's getting fixed piece by piece, part by part, day by day. Derek from the food boat is right now zoomed in on the barge, and there's 2 tugboats right now pulling it towards
towards the Dali or the bridge, right? So it looks like that barge is probably gonna get all that steel after they cut it up. It's got to go somewhere, you know, and at this point, it's not going to go towards the port side. So I'm sure the people in Unified Command are starting to figure out where they're going to take all this stuff so they can cut it up and ship it somewhere else. That in the background is a car carrier ship, which the port of Baltimore is known for. It was number one. Right now, Brunswick, according to Andy, is number one, and it's basically called a roll-on, roll-off. You roll on and roll off all the cars. I mean, thousands of cars. And as many of you guys know, Andy did the whole series on the Golden Ray, which was a roll-on, roll-off that basically got shipwrecked there in St. Simon, Georgia. And he did a whole series of it. I mean, it was impressive to see that series. Literally, cars were falling off while they were cutting up the ship because the ship had to be cut off. It literally had to be cut piece by piece with giant chains. And he's here documenting all this. Has some comments in there saying Alfred Films, boat ramp ruckus. Well, listen, guys, this is a crazy, tragic event over here. You know, I talked to Derek. Andy called me and said, "Hey, Alfred, I'm going to Baltimore." And once he told me that, I said, "Do it. You got to kind of tell the story." And then he called Derek because Derek is in Charleston on the way up, and Derek said, "Hey, I'm willing to go." So those two decided to come up this way. I called Derek and I told Derek, "Hey, don't tell Andy anything." Channels all working together to try to go ahead and tell the story of what's happening in this city. See if this, I think everybody ran out of battery or no. Let me see what's going on here. Let me see some of the comments on this. Andy. I don't know if there's any. I'm trying to see what's going on here. Andy's making a phone call. And it is very cold, guys. It looks like there's a cold front all on the northeast. Even in South Florida, I think it was like 60s. I mean, I'm not trying to brag or anything, but in the morning it got into the 60s. I can't get in here. I'm trying to see what you guys are saying. All right. Well, let me get back on. Go back to the Dali so they can see the Dali real quick. Now, when you're out here, you don't have the best reception. You don't have the best internet. Oh, look, they're now coming back and to take the remaining pieces. And they were cutting up those areas over there. And there's the Dali guys right there. The bridge collapsed here in Baltimore. We still have the cleaning crews here cleaning up, and they're all behind us. And there's some right now on the beach getting this batteries on our phones, batteries on our live streaming equipment. But this is what it takes, and you see everybody here is going to be working together. I filmed a series on my channel, which is my name, Alfred Montaner, of the people at Palm Beach doing the boat show, right? And it was so impressive to see that whole group of guys and ladies and gentlemen working all together to meet a task, right? And same thing here, you know, this and many other things are gonna wash up ashore, and they're gonna go ahead and clean it up and take it out of here and make these beaches safe for the people who wanna go ahead and enjoy our parks, right? It's just pretty cool that you guys have been able to see most of this content all day. Go ahead and talk to Derek while we got this shot, because so literally they had to cut it. I mean,
It was they had to break the through bolts.
area is
Protected.
but they're also they're renovating it,
Correct.
right? And that's why all these new trees, you can't put anything in here.
Correct.
Because of what's been going on, right? So we're literally at the edge as far as we can go. But yes, they're doing preservation of this.
Too heavy.
Yeah, well, they're gonna have to cut it. They're gonna have to continue cutting. They started cutting it already. They're gonna take advantage of all the other things that they could still remove. There's stuff that are still washing up on shore, and it's gonna happen all night, all day, everything.
Yeah, let's get that.
We got our local police also just passing by behind us as well.
They're wondering what the guy from Miami's doing here.
Wait for it. All right, so we're on this camera right now. The barge is getting close to the site. It's moving, guys. He needed that help. Let me tell you, he needed that help.
I don't know what the current is here, but I'm assuming.
I would think it doesn't need. You don't even need to be current. Look at the wind.
Well, no, but I mean,
It's gotta rip. It's gotta
probably
rip.
got 6 knot current it's running against.
It has to
Plus
be
that
ripping.
30 knot wind.
Listen,
Yeah.
it has to be ripping. Why do you think there's none? I haven't seen one boat. There hasn't been one boat out here. You know, like you would think, but people know, hey, you don't tempt the devil, like they say. You know.
Lost it for a sec.
Yeah, well, it's gonna happen. Hey guys, comment below how the audio is and how the stream is, because it looks like we're losing a little bit of.
Yeah, they lost signal.
Yeah, we're losing some signal over here. Let's see what they're showing. What are they seeing? It's a blacked out. It looks like we lost signal.
I had to shut the truck off.
Huh?
I had to shut the truck off.
Why?
Out of gas.
Oh,
Really?
we ran out of gas?
It's
close.
It's close.
Okay, so what are we gonna do? Are we gonna start shutting it down, or what's the story? We're actually recording right now.
We are.
What's the game plan? Because
Hopefully we're back on.
You're back on cellular.
No, we're good.
okay,
We had to just drop out by the Starlink recycle. I'm running off battery over there.
yes.
We can see the Thomas DeWitt coming in now. They got a barge.
The-
They do.
There's another barge coming in.
Yep, they got a barge.
Well, get on that one too.
So it looks like another deck barge.
Well, the good thing is that they're seeing like all these huge assets, and are these local barges, or are
No.
they coming from different places?
These are being brought in.
From where though?
New York, New Jersey.
Don John is. I don't know where they're. You got their,
So
their
they're-
equipment may be staged in other places. Okay.
Yes, but I'm saying, like, okay, so if this was in New Jersey, this
Well,
already
that's-
been a couple days already.
That's where they're based out of, New Jersey.
Okay, but wherever their
But
assets
their
are,
assets may
that's
be in
right.
other places.
Yes, but now all of a sudden, hey, guess what? I really like you. You're a great customer of mine, but I have a huge emergency in Baltimore.
Well, that's another. You know, there's no
pe-
telling what that tugboat was doing, but they got a call. Hey,
That's it.
go get a boat. We need you to go to
gotta
this location. I need you to get this barge and get
prioritize.
headed to Baltimore.
Yeah.
So apparently there's a very serious discussion going on in chat.
About.
What color is that jacket?
I would say you guys should keep on fighting in the chat. Wait for it. I mean, I'm excited. Okay, this is a smaller tug,
That is a smaller tug.
but it's still massive.
80, it's 85 feet.
Okay, but that's the point I'm trying to say is that barge that just passed was so big
Right.
and so massive, pulling that huge barge. That tugboat was just on another level. And we'll see it, guys. We still got people here cleaning up. Andy, I'm gonna have to give you the mic.
I'll
Yours
give it to Derek.
Oh, okay, because
I got to go back too. When I just realized that, I left my radio.
Okay, well, you guys take care of this. Yours truly has to take a pit stop and take not a chitter moment. It's a number one moment.
Okay.
But it's not like you can go ahead and do stuff on the trees here. They got clean bathrooms here, guys.
They got heated bathrooms.
It's perfect.
It's
over here.
luxurious.
Let me tell you something. This park has gained a lot of my respect. I want this park in South Florida.
Yeah.
Make
I
it
want this
happen.
park in South Carolina. What are you talking about?
They have no ducks in the middle of the bathroom.
No ducks taking a shower?
No bathtub Barbies. Like, yeah, like seriously. I'm liking this place.
You're missing Bathtub Barbie.
I am missing her, and we did have a Fred the Croc sighting at Black Point today.
Really?
Yeah.
Daniel got that on film?
Daniel got that on film. He called me a little while ago and he said, hey, you're going to want to see this chinchon. So I said, okay, no problem. And then that's the series I do, guys. If you don't know, now you know. I
That
do a
guy
boat
falling
run.
off the other day, stepping back to admire his work, it was really entertaining.
That's why you don't put all your trust in those poles, right? And especially if they're split in two. Well, I'm gonna let you take
you
care
go.
of this.
You go.
And
I got it.
you hold
I got it. Oh, man. Y'all, if you're still watching this, which most of you are, and thank you for it, we really appreciate any love and support. Go ahead and smash that like button if you haven't already. Andy, like I said the other day, I'm standing in Lowe's at 5:30 Thursday, and Andy calls me and says, I'm coming your way. And we go, and he drives up, and we spend all night driving through the night to get here yesterday at 7 in the morning. We got here 7 in the morning, got all the permits taken care of, some issues once we got here, but we're here. And Andy plans on bringing you this. Andy plans on bringing you this through the entirety of the project. He's going to go back and forth, obviously, because those of you who don't know much about Andy, he has a company down in St. Simons. And there's all sorts of people that rely on him, to include his aging father. So he's down here, or up here, I'm sorry, bringing y'all this, and we've got to get back so he can take care of Doc, cut some trees, fill up his customers' wood stacks, because there are several restaurants which I really like the fact that Andy supplies wood to these different restaurants and smokehouses, because for those of you who don't know, my name is Derek. I run a channel called The Food Boat, and that's what I do. I do food. And
it's really cool that Andy supplies, because there's a couple of those customers of his that are on my prospect list for the food boat. Come on. As Alfred told you earlier, we've had to jury rig a couple of these tripods to make this work, so I don't have the smoothest movement when I move it. But that is the Thomas D. Witt you're looking at right there. That is an 80-foot tug. My guess, it looks like 120 foot, maybe slightly larger of a barge that's pulling behind it. I can't tell by looking at it. It looks like that might be a hopper barge. That barge might not be a deck barge, might be a hopper barge where stuff sits inside of it rather than on top of it. I don't have enough zoom, and I'm also not wearing one contact. I only got one contact in, so I don't see all that clearly. But I see clear enough to know that that might be a hopper barge and not a deck barge. And for those of you who aren't familiar, go ahead and hop in Google and check them out. Barges are fascinating. Barges are fascinating. But they're bringing in all sorts of assets for this project. Because something that took years to build, they now have weeks to clean it up based on the promises the politicians made. And these guys are going to work tirelessly day and night to make that happen. Because the amazing thing about marine contractors, they work in such a hostile environment with such troublesome conditions that a lot of times these guys aren't your general contractors. These guys aren't your normal contractors. I don't mean general contractors, I mean normal contractors. These guys, marine contractors, they are a different breed of people. And the work that they do, like I said earlier, with how hostile of an environment it is, like, these are the guys that they make movies about. These are, what's his name? Bruce Willis in Armageddon and his crew. Like, that's what these guys do. They're going to be working 18-hour days out here in the thick of it with these small craft advisory. Look at those white caps out there coming in on a Saturday while the rest of y'all are sitting at home. They're out there. And they're going to be doing that until this project's done. And I know a bunch of you were talking about how much this project's going to cost, but these assets aren't cheap. Those assets aren't cheap. All these vessels right here burning gallons upon gallons upon gallons. Like, while I'm talking to you right now, it would make you sick to know how much fuel that tug has to burn to move those wheels it's got and pull that barge. They don't move efficiently. Probably, I don't even want to guess. That's an 80-foot barge. It's probably, I don't know, Captain Brian, if you're still in the chat, you probably got it looked up right now, but if I have to take a stab at it, I'd say 16 gallons an hour. I mean, 16. I don't know what those diesels are burning. They're not as inefficient as you think, but two of them burning, probably 16 each. I've been out of the game so long, I don't even know. That little barge of mine doesn't burn as much as this. So, and I've lost it. I've lost the shot. Get Alfred. I'm losing the chat. I'm losing the shot. I'm losing everyone. Hello. Let me know in the chat. One of y'all look it up. I can't even take a stab at it. I'm tired, I'm hungry. I don't even know what that thing with. Shut down some windows on my computer. I mean, not on my computer, on my cell phone. Gallon per horsepower per day. Is what Stray is in there saying. 3 comments. Yep. Who knew? Who knew? That's the beautiful thing about the food boat, right? So I got a barge with a kitchen on it. I don't go hungry. I've got an endless supply of cookies. And for everyone else, there's food. That's my problem. I don't have any cookies out here. I didn't bring any cookies with me. Let's let it come into shot. Let's let it come into the shot. I don't know if this is the last asset of the day or not. They've been stacking up here all day, coming in on a Saturday. They still have not removed the bridge from on top of the container. They've got a lot to be considered when removing the bridge from on top. They needed assets like these coming in, right? They need somewhere to put the debris. You don't. The more times you handle something, the more expensive it gets. So a lot of that equipment is coming into place right now because they're going to be staging these barges for the rubble and debris to get on top of it or in it. In the case of like this one you're looking at right now, so they'll place stuff on top of it. This one will place debris inside of it. And you're not going to move things twice. So they need to get it managed. They need to take the different loads, figure out how that bridge is twisted and turned and all that steel is going to react when they start cutting on it. But then they also need to figure out where it's going to go once they cut it, because you're not going to just drop it straight into the water to have to pick it up again. While it's above like that, they'll do controlled falls on it, a lot like somebody like Andy would do when cutting down a tree after a storm. There are some times where the only safe option is to put it in the water, but there's other times where you're going to try to control where you set it and make cleanup easier. And that is what they're doing. I don't know, while that is coming. Can they see?
So you're doing a fantastic job.
No, I'm not.
And you're freezing.
Yeah.
Right? So big shout out to you. That's the Dali in the background.
Yeah, I was going to see if they can see the cutting going on. Because you can see from our end, you can see the cutting, but
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, and we got Andy back there, the rock star.
Yeah, he's
talking
just
to everyone from Miller Environmental, trying to get new people who are going to help him get more information out. We got Burnt over here saying, thank you, Sir Alfred. Michelle's in here. Jockey B, Harvey,
I'm glad to
Karina.
see you cleared it up and you told them that the jacket is orange, because it is in fact orange.
Yeah, I don't understand why these people
I don't know why.
such a problem. I mean,
Are they colorblind? Y'all need to go see. They need to go see their eye doctor.
Somebody did. Somebody said that. But guys, thank you for joining the stream. If you've been here this whole time, you are much appreciated.
Are we gonna finally go get something to eat? Is that what you're saying?
Just talking with the guys over there about.
That's what we were talking about. What
Well-
were you saying? Come over here, get on the mic.
Well,
Tell them what's going on.
Talking the crews, just getting an idea of what the debris field is like.
Okay.
And a lot of this crew has just been assembled within the past 24 hours that are here making this debris recovery.
Yeah.
But there's one guy that's over there's been on site since Monday, and he says this, downriver here, Riviera Beach, they've been down as far as that recovering.
Over there, right?
Yeah.
So think about that, how that's going to affect for the next
Yeah,
couple of months,
yeah.
right? Because you probably still have bumpers over there in St. Simon, Georgia.
They are.
They're still there, right?
They're still there. Yeah.
Every now and then you probably get some.
Storm comes, it turns up the bottom.
Yeah.
You think
Some
you
more
catch
stuff.
a big fish?
And
It's a Kia.
it's a Kia.
It's a Kia.
It's a Kia.
Yeah.
Or
Oh man, I got my personal best on the line.
what is that? Oh, it's a Hyundai today.
Yeah.
We're seeing some cutting going on. You see that?
They're getting in the commercial anchorage area because they don't like. You're not going to congest a work site, right? Like I
No.
was telling everyone, because a couple people were asking why the bridge is still on top of the boat or the ship.
Well, he's cut loose from it. He's gotten off the main bridle off the bow of that barge, and he's getting on the hip of it now.
He's got much more control on the hip.
Yeah.
So now he's going to strategically bring it into place, and they're going to
Wherever they need it.
Anchorage.
Yeah. Wherever they need it, and they'll get it moored down over there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got much more control when you're on that back quarter.
Yeah.
Pushing a vessel, pushing a barge or anything like that. You got much more control of it there. But
Well, you know how to push barges around.
a little bit.
A lot of it, right?
A lot.
So give them a little bit of that expertise. Like what?
Well, towing a barge, you're gonna move the fastest with that setup, right? Because the rake on the bow, a barge, like if you were to push that barge the entire way, which you're gonna have more control pushing it,
Yeah.
or towing it on the hip. But the problem is the way that the barge is gonna work, it's gonna want to dive down. So if you're pushing it from the back, you're gonna push the bow down,
Yeah.
and towing it, you're just gonna basically tow it as a box through the water.
Yeah.
So you're gonna get a lot faster.
Those guys were talking about that, and
Yeah.
I did notice that the other day when I was on that barge in Palm Beach.
Yeah, you're a lot faster when you're just towing it, but you don't have much control.
Yeah.
So like the barge can
Oh,
go
now-
any way it wants to go.
And in this wind, what do you think? It's pretty tough to move this around, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's especially so you're
There's a lot of sail, a lot of surface area on the side of that barge that can make maneuverability
Yeah.
difficult.
So now they're getting on the hip, and they're on that back quarter, because like on the hip means like it's on the hip. It's on your hip. It's on the side.
It's on the side.
But like if you get in the front quarter or you get in the middle, you think, oh, okay, well I got a lot of control, but that thing's still going to move you anywhere it wants to move you. But it's crazy when you get in that back quarter of the barge.
Yeah.
You have a lot more control. You're able to steer it, and it responds better. So that's what they're doing. They're getting down. Those aren't spud barges. That one I was telling them, I don't know if you heard. That one, if I were to guess, that one's probably a hopper barge.
What do those do?
You can
They're
stuff
hollow.
in it.
You put
You can what?
You stuff in it.
Oh, okay.
As opposed to a deck barge
Okay.
where you sit stuff on it.
On it, yeah.
Yeah. So that one, my guess is maybe some debris that might come up that has liquids in it, or has stuff that they don't want rolling overboard that you would put on a deck barge. They're gonna put in that.
So have they mentioned the game plan of how they're gonna cut the actual bridge?
I have not heard. I have not heard of a
off of the Dali.
right.
Itself.
I haven't heard of that part of the plan.
Okay. Well, there's a lot of moving parts here. Obviously, we've seen almost 3 or 4 tugs, barges, everything, just in the matter that we've been live.
Just coming in here, and I would suspect, Alfred, that's going to be a continual process.
Oh, there's
There's stuff still in route
everywhere.
here.
Right, because think about this. There's a lot of variables going on right now. Like right now, you need to try to get this situation fixed, not just for Baltimore. We're
It's
talking
global.
Our supply chain.
Our
right?
global
we just
impacts.
We
Yeah,
just
that's
came
exactly
off
right.
of a huge supply chain crunch
We're
that
still in a supply chain.
created this whole inflationary environment that we've been in for such a long time.
Listen,
Right.
Easter just happened. Easter just happened.
Yes, it's huge.
And lamb, me being in the meat business, lamb was hard to come by.
Yeah.
We had to source lamb out of South America because you got the Hoopties on the Suez Canal shooting at boats.
Yeah, the Houthis. Yeah,
The Houthis.
Yeah,
Shooting at boats.
yeah,
You got the
yeah. The Red Sea,
the
like
Panama Canal
yeah.
has
There's a lot
drought,
going on.
Has a drought, so they cut traffic in half.
Yes.
And then now we got this, a major port.
Well, and you see, the average person just thinks like, hey, the world
They're
is
raising
fine.
my prices.
Well, listen. The reality is that, you know, all these people make these things work, right? And if because there's scenarios that are beyond anybody's control, then they just get mad and say, hey, guess what? You know, why are my car prices going higher? Because that's the latest, right? Car prices are going higher. You're car price is going to go higher. Well, you know, supply and demand. There's going to be less cars available right now because of this scenario.
Ripple effect, again, globally, because of what's going on here.
Well, I think I'm going to go back to my car because yours truly is.
I am about frozen solid here.
I think
we're done.
I think we're done. I think.
I think
Hey
we're
guys,
done,
comment below if you guys have enjoyed the stream here.
I think we're gonna go show Alfred this amazing restaurant we discovered yesterday.
Well, you know, I've been awake since 2 in the morning to make this happen, right?
Thank you.
I
I appreciate your
listen,
sacrifices to get here,
listen,
buddy.
Listen, I'm just saying that I am tired because I got up at 2 in the morning to be in the airport to leave at 4. Four something was the boarding, right? But I was here early in the morning. We've been here all day, and it's well worth it because I think this information is going to be something for me and for you and for all of us that, hey, we're doing our part as Americans to go ahead and give what we can, and this is what we can give. Right. And you can give whatever you can give. It doesn't have to be monetarily. It could be your time. It could be a thank you. It could be a letter. It could be many things, right? Because right now, those are those moments that people are going to say, hey, listen, I appreciate these people for what they do or try to do.
Beautifully said. You know, it's a tough situation. There's no way around that. It's still a site of a tragedy. There's still folks that they need to bring home. I can't lose sight of that. The workplace, the site itself. You know, everybody that's on there, I'm sure that's on their mind.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
They want to make that.
Of course.
And then, you know,
you want to bring everybody home. You know, you want to bring everybody home no matter what. You want to bring everybody home.
Well, guys, hey, I really appreciate you guys spending a little bit more away from our time here. The way the stories we like to tell and the interactions that we have as it unfolds. Again, guys, thanks for watching.